Built for builders, from beginners to pros, this is where great backyards begin. Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast, your source for backyard building tips, product breakdowns, and pro advice from the front lines of the industry. Here are your hosts, Shane Chapman and Wade Laurent.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Wade and Shane, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm pretty good. I forgot to pull the mic closer.
I was going to say, you have to be more ready
That's a very long way.
for my line of questioning.
There used to be a song.
Right? What are you up to? I haven't seen you in a bit. You're finally down in the city that rhymes with fun.
Came down to Regina. I don't know what I've been doing. So I've been up to the cabin like the last 2 weekends up in the forest getting ready for elk season. So myself and Wazzy from Compound Decks and Tyler Hubbard from Regina here. Yep. And Jordan from Tega. We're all going up to elk hunt on the 5th to 9th. So there was some prep to get ready before everybody arrived. So I was up there. I built like a little meat cooler thing so that if we end up getting an animal, we can actually chill it down and don't have to rush out of there in a big hurry. So
nice.
So have you ever heard of a CoolBot?
CoolBot?
CoolBot.
Nope.
It's this little thing that you plug into your air conditioner and it allows you to run your air conditioner down to like 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And so I bought a air conditioner, like a window air conditioner. And then you put it in this room. It's a 4x6 room with 8-foot high walls and then a bunch of insulation around it. Air conditioner. And then you take this little CoolBot, plug it into your...
What does the CoolBot do?
Overrides the temperature reading on the air conditioner. And so
it just allows it to run nonstop.
Yep.
No thermostat.
Pretty much. It tells it that it's always hot. There's this like little cord that you have to open your air conditioner up and then you tape this red.
And it doesn't freeze up. It just like it just works.
Just runs.
Okay.
So
that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll let you know if it works.
Yeah.
That's the plan. So
funny story. We just talked about the city that rhymes with fun. We were down in, we just got back from a family vacation down in Anaheim. And we spent one day at the Aquarium of the Pacific with the kids at this aquarium, which was great. And there was this one guy working there who was like, I don't know if he's a marine biologist, but something like that. And he was standing at a little table showing off like whale bones and stuff, whatever. And so the kids went up and were talking to him, and he's like super nice dude. And he was just loving it. Like the kids had all these questions and he's just going back and forth. And he just thought the kids were the funniest thing because they were so engaged and they just kept asking question after question. He's like, you guys are so funny. Anyways, fast forward a little bit. He's like, so where are you guys from? And Avery, my 8-year-old, is like, from Regina. And the guy's like, just starts laughing. He's like, what? And Avery repeated it. And the guy looks at us and was like, that is hilarious. Like he legit thought Avery said vagina.
Yes. And
he thought like, what, your kids are so funny because of this. And the guy was laughing for a while. We walked by him again later. He's like, I'm still laughing over that response. And we're like, he doesn't know that what he actually said was the name of our city.
Yes.
And at one point I was like, I know it sounds funny, but that's what we call it up there. And then I walked away. I was like, that didn't help the situation.
Yeah. He's like, we call it that down here too.
Yeah, I was like, that didn't clear anything up. That just reinforced what he thought the kid said. Because in my head, I was like, they would say it Regina.
Yeah.
And we say Regina, but that's not what came out of my mouth. So I said to JC afterwards, I was like, that guy is going to have a story to tell for like the next year of his job.
It might be longer
this one
than
time.
He might tell that one forever, actually. And then I asked this kid where he's from, and he said,
told me he was from a vagina.
I knew it was.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anything else you do down there, or you just went to that?
Oh, I got stories for days.
Yeah.
But like
we gotta go.
We said we are going to keep these episodes short now.
I always like the banter at the start, but
we can banter on the next episode. This one, we got to get to talking about cable rail. So cable railing, not a unknown option for many people, especially in the United States of America, because they've been able to do it forever. It's been an option, I don't know for how long, when cable rail first came out. Let's call it 20 years ago. I don't know, maybe even before. But for use on decks, maybe it started to get popular around that 15 to 20 year mark. Mm-hmm. But for the longest time in Canada, it was not allowed because of it being a climbable surface and so on. And we used to go down to the Deck Expo shows or IBS, call it like when we first started the store like 10 years ago, 10 years ago. And when we would go up to a cable rail booth, whether it was Feeney or I think was it Atlantis or AGS or whoever at the time, and they're like, you guys heard of cable rail? We're like, heard of it, but we can't do it. And they're like, oh, you're from Canada. Like this immediately knew you were from Canada because it was such a commonly known thing. But now it seems as though just about every Canadian province, I think Manitoba is still the holdout. Is that right?
I thought Ontario was the last holdout.
Ontario? So there's one left, and maybe it's Ontario, that still is like a little bit not super keen to pass cable rail. But for the rest of the people of the world, we thought we'd chat about it as an option.
It's just like, it's such a cool look, and there's a lot of advantages to it. So here we go.
Yeah, the aesthetic is one that most people really like. It's like a modern yet industrial look. It's less maintenance than glass. A lot of people that are looking, they have a view they want to retain, but they're scared of the upkeep or maintenance of like washing glass or Windexing glass all the time.
Yeah.
Then cable rail provides a good alternative to that because it does a pretty good job of maintaining the view with that modern industrial look. And so a lot of people are kind of veering towards it. Now, one of the things though is that they often think like, oh, well, that'll be less money than glass. And
no,
it's not at all less money than glass.
Not even close.
So if you're wondering right now, it's twice the cost of glass actually. Now, if you're doing frameless glass, about the same price typically, but
yeah, when you start to get into the frameless glass scene, then you're way much closer, much more comparable for sure.
They're both. Yeah. We often, when people ask, it's like, these are in Canadian dollars. These are in Canadian 2025, post-COVID, post-tariff, post-exchange rate, post-whatever prices we have nowadays.
Yeah.
But typically for a standard aluminum picket rail, these days you're talking $60, $70 a linear foot. Yeah. You add a glass panel instead of the picket and still have the top and bottom rail, you're more like $80, $90 a linear foot. As soon as you get into cable, you're $150 plus. Yeah. Frameless glass, 150 plus, like 150 to 200.
Yep.
So that's kind of the range. It's twice the price of doing just standard picket or more. So you got to really love the look.
Yeah, and it can actually climb a bit higher than that depending on how your deck is built, right? So we'll get into that as we go, but
get into it now. Long runs versus short sections. That's
basically the key to kind of keeping the cost down on this, right? All of your expenses in your hardware, and I know people come into the store all the time and they're like, this is crazy, $130 a linear foot. Like I can go get this anywhere. I could buy aviation cable and it's all coated and blah, blah, blah. And I can do I'll just put little clamps on there. Listen, I'm not saying that you can't do this for 6 cents a foot.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
And it's going to look exactly like you did it for 6 cents a foot. Right?
I thought you were going to say it looks exactly the same. And I was hard disagree right there.
Awful. Yeah. Right? You got those big turnbuckles all over the place. It looks like a WWF ring in all the corners. So, for the product that we sell it's all stainless steel, right? It's like 3/16 stainless steel. So now, it's good in coastal applications. It's good on the prairies everywhere, but that's what your cost is.
Right.
It's quality product that you're putting outside. I think if you were inside, if you were doing cable rail inside, you might be able to get away with a less quality cable because there's no elements.
Yeah.
It's 21 degrees all the time.
Right.
Right. And or 70 degrees, whatever it is.
So really just do bare aviation cable at that point. If you
really
want to, it doesn't really even need to be stainless.
No elements or anything to. But when you get outside, it's just you're going to invest some money in this deck and you should have something that looks good. Right. And so, the hardware drives the price up. The cable itself is actually not that expensive in relation to the whole project. But if you're doing multiple short runs, that price is high, fast.
Yep. Yeah, because it's all those little, whether it's a turn, depending on the system, the little turnbuckles at the end or the little shark bite connectors, the pure solid stainless steel bits and pieces at the start and the finish of each cable run is the expensive part.
That's the money.
So to your point, people often are like, well, how much is it? And you're like, well, it averages $150 a linear foot, but it could be 200 and it could be 120 depending on how long your runs are. Because if you can max out and get 50 feet of run on it, well, you're going to be towards that 120.
Yes.
But if you've got some people want to do it on a stair landing, and it's I'm going to go out 4 feet and then down some stairs. And it's well, that's going to add up because you're just doing a short 5 foot run and another 5 foot run, and then it's that gets pricey quick.
Absolutely.
So you have to be aware of that. There are different systems out there. We even carry 2 different systems ourselves. We carry the Vista cable rail, which is a complete system with the railing components like the posts and the top rails and everything.
Yep.
And we also carry the Feeney cable kits, which They also have a complete system if you want. You can but put in an order, like a job lot order for your deck, and they'll give you the posts and everything with the holes already pre-drilled and everything. That's not how we sell it. That often, like, boy, when we used to quote that stuff, it was like, this is years ago, and it was $300 a linear foot at that time.
Yes.
I don't know if that's changed a bunch or not, but we also sell their cable kits, which is just the cable and the hardware components and to put through your own posts, whether that's into wood posts, or in our case, we often sell it with Fortress AL13 Home aluminum posts.
Yep.
And the reason we sell it with those posts is they have a nice thick aluminum wall on them.
Yeah.
You can't just put this into any old off-the-shelf aluminum post, because a lot of the times if you're looking at a product like Regal or kind of the stuff you're going to find at a typical Home Depot or something, the wall of those posts is like, it's plenty thick for what it's meant to be used for.
Yes.
But it's not thick enough to have the tension of cable rail pulling on it. And it'll actually bend or even potentially collapse the walls of those posts. So you have to be careful what you're putting those systems into, because you do have to tension them quite tight. You install it and then tension the crap out of them.
Yeah, and you're actually going to tension it twice, right? Because you're going to do it right away the first time, and then that cable is going to relax, and then you'll actually have to go back and tighten it again. So
yeah, and so that's a good point too. Like, there is some maintenance to cable rail. People often look at it as a maintenance-free product, and I would argue that it damn near is, but to your point, the cables will stretch, especially that first year. You get them tensioned nice, and it's just like they're twisted cable. Like, they can, as they get tensioned, they will relax over time and get a hair looser. Like, it's not like they get floppy, but they get a little looser, and you have to get out there, and not a big deal. You take a wrench. The hardware is already there. You take a wrench, just give it a couple more turns to draw the tension on the cable again. Not a big deal. Yep. But if you're in cottage country or something, I've seen cable rail actually tracked quite a bit of spider webs and whatnot. And so maintenance-free-ish, retains view-ish. Is it less work than glass? Maybe not, because you might still have to grab a broom and clean the spider webs off.
But you can clean both sides with just one broom.
True. Much easier than like Windex and glass. No doubt about it. There's also like, I don't know what they call them, like shining kits. So the luster of the cable can kind of over time, like, I don't know if it oxidizes or what, but little cleaning kits kind of bring back the shininess of the cable over time. So there's a little bit of maintenance if you want to keep it looking its best. Yep. But to your earlier point, there are many grades of stainless steel, and there's also many qualities within the same grade of stainless steel. Yep. So what we're selling, what you'll find on the stuff that is expensive is a good high quality stainless steel and a good grade of stainless steel. What you're finding off AliExpress is not typically. So you might still save a few dollars doing that even with a comparable grade, because it's still, you're essentially buying it direct from manufacturer overseas, whatever. Yeah. I don't know how the tariff situation plays into that anymore. I don't know if that's even a viable thing anymore, but but it's often not the same. You can't just be like, well, mine, like you're selling 316 stainless steel and this one also says it's 316. It's like, yes, but there's a difference in quality as well, potentially. Yeah. So you got to look for kind of see through the weeds a little bit on that and make sure you're buying a good product. You don't want to spend that much money and then find out you have a cable that's a stainless cable that somehow is rusting. Yeah. Because it's got so many like impurities in it.
And, reviews are such a great way to find that information, right? So.
Yeah. As far as installing it goes, it's actually not that bad, especially if you get one of the complete systems, like the Vista system that we carry, and any of the other systems that are kind of sold as a whole kit. They're not too bad. Like if the holes are pre-drilled in the post, I know the Vista ones, they're tapped and threaded. So you just hand thread in the hardware into the post. It's already threaded there. So you just tighten it up, run your cables through, snip it off, tension it up. It's not that difficult. It's just, once you've done it once, you can do it with your eyes closed.
It's quite repeatable. Yeah.
So you don't necessarily need a contractor to do it, but if you're not somebody who's super handy, then you do need a contractor to do it. There is still the fact that you have to plumb up your posts and you have to cut your rails. And if you don't have the tools and know how to do all that stuff, well, then leave it to somebody else.
Hire someone. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then there's sometimes we get people that are like, well, what spacing do the cables have to be? And it's like, well, there's no real hard, fast rule for this. However, most of the manufacturers, if there's pre-drilled components, are doing it at 3 inches on center for the cables. And sometimes people are like, well, I thought you decided to do 4 inches for the code. It's like, that is true. Mind you, I think that's reducing, or there was talk of it reducing a while back, and that's kind of got quiet. But let's say it's still 4 inches. The reason that you have to do it 3 on cables is because there is, regardless of how much you tension them, there's still some flex to the cable.
Yeah, there's deflection. Yeah.
So you have to be able to. The rule is it can't deflect more than a 4-inch opening. You don't
Correct.
want a child to go up there and like be able to stretch cables, stick their head through, and then like get their head caught in the cables idea.
Yeah.
So at 3 inches and tension properly, when you apply pressure to it, however much force you're allowed to put to it, that deflection can't exceed more than 4. So that's the reason why. I know we've had people that are like, I live on a farm. I do what I want. Nobody's coming to inspect it. I'm doing 4 rows of cables on a 42-inch post. We're like, yep.
Sounds good.
A baby's not catching the head in that either.
Have the most fun.
And it's on a porch, right? It's like 2 feet off the ground on a porch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You do you. But if you're using the pre-made components, typically it's 3 inches out of the box.
Yeah, and that's what our team's going to try to convince you to do. So there are a couple rules around cable rail. So you are in Canada. So it passed in 2015. That was when the code changed in Canada that we were allowed to use cable rail. It wasn't adopted by a lot of local municipalities until 2020, probably. Yeah. Or maybe even later.
I think it was a 2015 code, and then Saskatchewan was one of the first. I think we were lucky. I think in 2017, they adopted the 15 code, and we're like, all right. And we were like, we brought it in immediately because we knew how popular it was down in the States.
Absolutely. But you can't put it on a deck that's over 13 feet high. That's
the rule here.
There
right?
is too much.
4 meters, I think, or 3.5 meters or something.
3.5 meters.
So you'll have to check with your local code rules as far as that goes, because yes, even though we're allowed to do it here, there is a limitation on how high you can do it.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what sense it makes. It's like
that's the super death height. 24 is the initial death height.
Either it's climbable or it's not. Like
13. And so I imagine I've talked about this on the podcast, but the study that was done to determine whether it was climbable or not basically had just 3 components to it, right? They can see through it, so they don't have to climb it. It's a straight vertical climb, so kids don't like that. And then it's really sharp on the fingers. And so they don't, that's what the study found to prove that cable rail is actually not climbable. People don't climb it.
Yeah.
For those 3 reasons.
It appears to be ladder-like.
Certainly.
But people don't actually try to climb on it.
And if your kid's a climber, your kid's a climber.
Right. And we've had this conversation before. And it's like, if somebody wants to get over the rail, there's 6 patio chairs on the deck that you can push right to the side and then climb over without having to climb up the side of the cable. Just stand in the chair and hop over.
Yep.
Like, it's not hard to get over any rail.
Absolutely.
You know what I always find strange is that there's all these rules. This is going to be a tangent now, not super related to this, but like there's always these rules about like residential railing and what you can and can't do in your own house. And you have to have this grass wool rail and it's got to be this tall and it can't be climbable and all this stuff. And then like sometimes you go to like, you're at like the second deck of Skydome or something.
Yeah.
And the rail that's going to stop you from falling over onto the crowd of people below that's 30 feet down is like at your knee.
Yeah.
And it's at the bottom of stairs. Like you go down this, there's just so many instances where I'm in everyday life that I'm like, how is that only that tall in this application?
Right.
And that's okay. But yet in my house, I have to be 42 inches on my little deck.
We're only my one person, me, can get hurt on my deck. Now there's all these super strict rules.
Yeah.
Or 60,000 people.
Make no sense to me. I went on a hot air balloon ride like a month ago.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, here
if
you are.
Want to go. You want to jump, man.
The basket's like no taller than the railing on my deck. And it's like, now I'm 1,000 feet in the air. And if I jump, I'm like on the car on the freeway. Anyway. So that's kind of the lowdown on cable rail systems. They are a really cool look if you want to do them. There's different styles you can kind of do. It's a totally different look if you do it through like a nice cedar post. If you do it through aluminum railing or through iron railing, you can choose your different powder coating colors, whether it's black or white or brown. You can do the drink rails. It's got a whole bunch of customizations that you can do to it, and just the infill itself is the horizontal cables. But it's a really cool look. It works, I think, because the framing around it, the posts and the rails are so flexible.
Yeah,
it can work with like so many different styles of building as well. Right? Yeah. Like you don't have to say it's like, oh, it's only meant for modern industrial looking homes. It's like, no, it can work on like all sorts of styles.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
So it's really cool. Look into it if it's if it's in the budget, include it in your options that you're shopping for, because it's something that can really kind of separate the look of your deck too. There's so many just like metal picket railing decks.
Everybody has
cable
picket.
rail.
Yeah.
Can really set it apart. So it's really cool.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, take it easy. We'll talk to you next week.